Our fifth superstar has finally arrived. I know that some people didn't like her in the beginning because of the bratty personality. I did too. However, you know it's always fun to have a friend like FURINA that would often say stupid things here and there, but when you actually get to know them, talk to them, they're kind of wholesome. So putting that aside, FURINA kind of made me very curious about her, so I ended up liking her. And also, she's the only character in Genshin Impact who has two different looks, can change between both Pneuma and Ousia, and has 3 character splash arts. Now you must be curious about her playstyle, so let's jump right into it. Her Ascension stats will give her crit rate, so it will be easier for you to balance her crit ratio. Her basic attack is nothing special unless you have her at C6, so we will ignore it for now. Her charge attack is one of her gameplay mechanics, which is the arc changing. Arc is like states, so I'll be saying states from now on. So if you want to change FURINA's state from Ousia to Pneuma, and vice versa, you just need to use her charge attack. And also, her charge attack seems like a little physical bonus we get in Spear Abyss, so it was really cool when I saw it. When she is in Ousia form, she will have black outfits accompanied by a short hairstyle, and when she's in Pneuma mode, her outfits will turn white, and she will have 2 long pigtails. Her skill will also differ when she's in Ousia or Pneuma mode. It lasts for 30 seconds, and it has 20-second cooldown, which is insane because that's 100% uptime without any gimmicks. You can just use her skill and forget about it. In Ousia mode, she will summon 3 water animals, and the animals will follow your active character along. These animals will also attack in different set intervals, have different multipliers and different HP drains percentages, which will reduce your team's HP every time they attack if your team has more than 50% HP. The draining HP mechanics is used to buff the animal's damage as one of her passives, which we will talk about later. This is why it's really important for you to bring a healer into the team if you want to maximize her damage. A healer who can heal the entire team at once would be essentially good with FURINA, like Baizu and Charlotte, who are also on the rate-up banner right now, and Jean. Kokomi and Noelle can also be used if you're planning to use them as an on-field driver. Her Hydro application is not as frequent as our existing Hydro characters like Xingqiu and Yelan, but it will still be enough for most teams that require Hydro application. To kind of make up for this, FURINA's Hydro application will have some AoE, which can help her compete with Xingqiu and Yelan. Damage-wise, she actually outperforms Yelan slightly at low investment. When you give them both their signature weapons, then Yelan starts to do more damage than her. In Pneuma mode, she will only summon 1 animal, and it will heal your active character. I do not recommend you to use her Pneuma form because her Ousia form has really high multipliers, which means that you will lose out a lot of damage potential. Here's a fun fact though. FURINA's skill can make her walk on water forever, which completely power creeps Kokomi, who needs to use her burst to be able to walk on water. FURINA's ult is a team-wide buff, which is stupidly strong. It also has 100% uptime, assuming if she can ult fast enough, because her ult lasts for 18 seconds and has 15-second cooldown. Unlike Kazuha, who can only buff a certain element, she gives elemental buff to all party members, regardless of their elements. She also gives healing bonus. The maximum buffs she can give are 75% damage bonus and 30% healing bonus. The way FURINA gives these buffs is by her HP draining mechanic. Every time your team's HP decreases or increases, she will gain fanfare stacks. The more fanfare stacks she has, the stronger her buff becomes. This is why I recommended you to put a healer in the team so that you can maximize both her damage and her buffs. Next, we will talk about her passives. Her first passive will reduce the cooldown of those underwater abilities by 30%, which is kinda useless since you only use those things for underwater exploration. Next is when active character in your party receives healing. If the source of the healing is not FURINA herself and the healing overflows, then FURINA will heal a nearby party member for 2% of their max HP once every 2 seconds within the next 4 seconds. This is quite useful for single target healing skills like Kokomi's Jellyfish and Cookie's Ring. Lastly, for every 1000 points of FURINA's max HP, can buff the different modes she has in the following ways. It will increase the Selam member damage by 0.7% up to a maximum of 28%. It will decrease active character's healing interval of the Singer of Many Waters by 0.4% up to a maximum of 16%. So, to max this passive, your FURINA will need 40k HP, and for this reason, I recommend you to use HP Goblet on her since her ult will give her tons of elemental damage bonus anyway. Now, you might be wondering if she has an ER problem or not. FURINA's ult cost is 60 and Yelan's is 70. Here are the calculations for FURINA's ER requirement, which were set in the strictest condition possible, such as the least enemies kill particles, and etc. So, for a solo Hydro FURINA, it is around 200, and for double Hydro, it is around 170, dropping further in triple Hydro setup and if you have a Favonius user in your team. Next, we are going to talk about her weapon. FURINA has a tons of weapon option as she scales off of both crit and HP, and she's also great with energy recharge weapons. First of all, I want to talk about her signature weapon and why I'm not actually a huge fan of it. Her signature weapon practically forces you to run an ER sand unless you can somehow god roll ER on every single piece while also maintaining good amount of crit and HP substats. I personally prefer when a unit can be versatile with builds. Her signature weapon is still her best option damage-wise, but it's also not so far ahead of other options to the point where I would not recommend you to pull for it. Looking at FURINA's other weapon options, there's obviously one standout choice, which is the Festering Desire. I'm sorry for the people who didn't start playing Genshin early on because this is FURINA's best weapon choice that isn't her signature. It has energy recharge, and is a passive that's perfectly with FURINA's kit, which buffs elemental skills damage and crit rate. It is basically a perfect weapon for her, and it's what I would recommend the most. She won't struggle to get her energy back and also do good damage. For those people who doesn't have Festering Desire, the pipe is your best bet as your FTP option because you can fish for it and it performs pretty fine. It is basically a huge energy stat stick that allows you to run more offensive substats on your build. Key is also a really good option for her that allows you to buff up your teammates as well, which would make her more valuable as a support. For her artifacts, there's only one answer. You should use Golden Troop. If you don't have it, then you need to farm for it. This is because the 4-piece bonus is insane for FURINA. While farming for Golden Troop, you can also use 2-piece combinations like 2-piece HP sets, 2-piece Hydro damage bonus set, or 2-piece emblem. For her goblet, like I said before, HP Goblet is more preferable than Hydro Goblet to help her reach the 40k HP threshold. Her ult also gives tons of damage bonus for her. However, the damage difference between HP bonus versus Hydro Goblet are pretty similar. In case you're unlucky and don't get any good HP Goblet, then you can use Hydro damage bonus Goblet with the better substats. For her Circlet, you want to use Crit Circlet and try to reach the 1:2 ratio. For her teams, you can basically just slot her anywhere if the team needs a Hydro off-field sub DPS and support. She also enables any character to utilize the Hunter set, so the Hunter set won't be limited to Fontaine characters anymore. She needs a healer rather than a shielder. AoE healers are especially great with her because it can help her HP draining mechanics and stacks gain to be more consistent. If you did watch my Nouvelette's video, I said that Nouvelette's team is missing something, right? Yes, it was missing FURINA. FURINA actually synchronizes with Nouvelette very well as Nouvelette will help her gain her stacks faster and she will help boost Nouvelette's damage further. Ryosley is also great with her because he also has the HP draining and healing mechanic in his kit. Here's some example teams you can make with FURINA. Ryosley, FURINA, Kazuha, Charlotte for Fontaine's freeze team. Nouvelette, FURINA, Kazuha, and Baizu or any other healers. Quick Bloom with Hytham, Nahida, FURINA, and Cookie, or you can change Hytham with Yelan or Xingqiu for Hyper Bloom. Hu Tao's double Hydro with Yelan and Jean as a healer. I like this team the most. Noelle or Kokomi as a driver and a healer, then FURINA, Yelan, and a flex. It could be a Xingqiu, Kazuha, or etc. There's so many possibilities with FURINA, which is why you should not skip her. Her C1. When you use Ultimate, FURINA will gain 150 Fanfare. Additionally, FURINA's Fanfare limit is increased by 100. That's an additional 25% damage bonus at skill level 10, and you can get the effect immediately, which is pretty huge buff for the team. And C2. While her ultimate lasts, FURINA's Fanfare gain from increases or decreases in nearby characters' HP is increased by 250%. Each point of Fanfare above the limit will increase FURINA's max HP by 0.35%. Her maximum max HP increase is 140%. Now, she can reliably get her stacks to max really fast and even get more damage because she will get more HP. For her personal damage increase, it will be around 38%. Her C3 gives you 3 levels for your ultimate, which is about 7% damage increase overall. And C4. When her summons hit the enemy or heal allies, FURINA will get 4 energy which triggers every 5 seconds. This lowers her ER requirements significantly to the point where you don't have to care about her ER. This also gives her 20% damage increase as you can give more offensive stats to her. C5 gives skill level plus 3. It is around 18% damage bonus increase for her. And her E6. When using her skill, she will gain a special state for 10 seconds and her normal attack, charge attack, and plunging attack will be converted to Hydro, which cannot be overridden by anything, and deal increased damage equivalent to 18% of her max HP. And when she's in Ousia form, she'll be able to heal the entire team by 4% of FURINA's max HP for a duration of 2.9 seconds. And if you trigger this again, it will extend its duration. When she's in Pneuma state, Her normal attack, basic attack, and plunging attack damage will be further increased by 25% of the FURINA's max HP. When any of the attacks mentioned previously hit an opponent, all nearby characters in the party will consume 1% of their current HP. And duration of each instance of Center of Attention, the above effects can be triggered up to 6 times. Center of Attention will end when its effect has triggered 6 times or when the duration expires. Okay, so I think you guys have seen enough. She is a must pull, right? She has a lot of weapons that you can use. Her general damage is really great, and she brings a lot of flexibility in team building. You can even use Noelle or Kokomi on field driver if you have FURINA. And she also makes Hunter set universal. So I can say she's very F2P friendly for non-Fontaine characters. So what do you guys think? Do you think FURINA is overrated? I don't think so. I always believed in Hoyoverse that they're gonna make all the Archons broken. But you know what I want to see in the future? I want to see a DPS Archon, not some support like this. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.